Καλησπέρα σε όλους. Από την μεριά της DTA σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ όλους σας που ήρθατε εδώ σήμερα να δείτε την παρουσίαση της εταιρείας WIKOV, η οποία κατασκευάζει μειωτήρες ειδικούς και μειωτήρες σειράς παραγωγής. Για την παρουσίαση αυτή έχει έρθει και μας τιμά με την παρουσία του ο κύριος Γιάννη Vosatka, ο οποίος είναι ο Τεχνικός Διευθυντής της εταιρείας. Jan, thank you very much for coming to Greece, and we are honored that we have you here. Please, for your presentation.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My pleasure to be here at this fair, and my name is Jan Vosatka, as Andras kindly introduced me, and I'm the Technical Director of the WIKOV Group. And today I would like to introduce our company to you in a bit more detail. So we are a company with fairly long tradition, with more than 100 years. We got a single owner. His name is Martin Wichterle. He's Czech person, and he's still fairly young. He's 58. So he's still have ambitions to further develop this company. We are growing naturally. Still, you know, we are also growing by acquisitions, as you would see in the line we've got over the companies, and we are obviously looking further for the future, also on the Greek market, and where we cooperate with Andras and his company DTA. So this is a fairly complicated slide of WIKOV history, so I don't want to bore you with details. I would just mention that we start to make, or the WIKOV appear first time in 1918. That's the time also when we start to produce gears. And the WIKOV itself, the name is coming from two names, Wichterle, which is our current owner as well, and Kovařík, so basically two names. Wichterle Kovařík, that makes the name WIKOV. And WIKOV itself disappeared after 1945, where the company was nationalized. Every company which had more than 250 employees were nationalized. So WIKOV disappeared, and it appeared again in 2004 when Martin Wichterle started to acquire industrial companies, started to reintroduce this gearbox business, and he renamed the companies Skoda and CKD, which are the traditional old Czech companies, to WIKOV, and since then we are growing further. As you can see, there is a lot of new companies coming, new acquisitions. So we made two recent acquisitions this year in Canada because we want to grow also on a North America market. We got more than 1,000 employees now. We are as I said, we are a group of companies. We got 8 manufacturing plants, and we are supplying to all kind of industrial sectors. Also here in Greece. The annual turnover is constantly growing. Currently we are around $140 million. We can supply gearboxes from fairly small ones for streetcars, trams, which would be around 120, 150 tons, up to big beasts, 120 tons, that would be for cement plants and mineral processing. We can make gears fairly large, up to 2.8 meter. We supply to all kind of countries. Basically, we are focusing on export. We supply very little to Czech Republic, and the stuff we supply in the Czech Republic is very often then re-exported as a part of the large equipment. Yeah, so we don't really focus on domestic market. We focus on global market, all kind of continents. This is the kind of the map. I'll try to. Is there any pointer on this? No. So basically, we are a Czech company based in the Czech Republic. The 01 number is headquarters in Prague. I don't know if you've ever been to Prague. It's a very lovely city. We got a few manufacturing plants. The 02 is WIKOV MGI. That's close to Polish border. That's the largest one. The 03 is Pilsen, where the famous Pilsner Urquell is made. That's the other plant for gears. Then we have 2 other plants in Czech Republic. We also have a manufacturing and service plant in Germany, Gemeinde Getriebe, which is a company focused mainly on railway and railway gear service. And as mentioned, we got 2 recent acquisitions in Canada. One is 07, it's on Ontario region, That's where we produce parts, but also doing service. And then away is Vancouver, where we focus mainly on oil and gas, and both new supplies as well as service. And last but not least, in Greece, we are present through Andreas Pamphiliou company, DTA, where we cooperate mainly in steel and cement business, but obviously we want to grow further into other areas. We basically, we are not only a manufacturer, we focus on basically the complete product. So we are developing the product, we are making the product, we are delivering the product, and then we are servicing the product. So basically that's basically our core business. We always do a lot of R&D. We are having all kind of interesting technologies which we can supply into drivetrains. One is the flexible pin, I will talk more about in detail. We can also supply the variable speed gearbox, which is quite interesting for some areas, and we can also supply for preventive maintenance the online monitoring system, which we call WIGuard. I will talk about that a bit later as well. We are supplying to all kind of demanding industries where you need to go through various certification, not only for the company but also for the product. So we've got a state-of-the-art quality management in the factories. Every time you supply gearbox, for example, to marine business, vessel, oil and gas, whatever, it's very demanding. There is a lot of safety measures you have to apply for the design and manufacturing and delivering. So basically, we are certified by all kind of different bodies, and we can also assure that the product is certified as well. We can, for every gearbox before we deliver, is tested, either load tested or unload tested. For prototyping, we often do full load testing. We can test up to 8 megawatts, so you can imagine it's a very large test rig. So we got several test rooms, and we can provide very extensive testing for both high torque as well as high speed. We manufacture all the key components in-house. Yeah, so basically gearing we produce in-house. We can do ground gears up to 3 meters or 2.8 meters. We can hop the gears even larger. We do heat treatment in-house, which is a very key process for the good quality. Obviously, we do shafts and housings, rotating pieces in-house. We don't cast, we don't weld, you know. So basically, there's a lot of stuff we also cooperate, but basically the key operations for the delivery we keep in-house. We obviously provide for the customers also the installation and commissioning and service, which is basically key, obviously, for be sure that the gearbox will be, obviously, the equipment we supply will be running fine and smooth. We offer the on-site inspections. As said, we can offer the online monitoring systems, and we also offer the overhauls and service either by the client or basically with the gearbox back in our premises. We can also offer the drop-in gearboxes, which is basically when the clients got an old gearbox, we can deliver basically the gearbox which fits to the same place, to the same interfaces, so there is no need for the client to change anything. Very often we can do some upgrades to that, so the gearbox can transmit more torque, more power, whatever, or can be more efficient, whatever. We can also supply spare parts, both spare parts for all gearboxes or also for the gearboxes of other brands. We can do reverse engineering, and we got a good team. We got a good team on that. This is a quick overview of all kind of industries we are supplying to. It's a lot of industries, so it's a lot of knowledge in applications, but it helps us to survive through the years, because every time some industry is going up and some industry is going down. So there was a time when oil and gas had a big hype and other industries were quiet, and then oil and gas went down and other industries, rubber, cement, whatever went up. So basically it's good to have a differentiation in the portfolio. So oil and gas, historically, rail vehicles is a very strong. We supply gearboxes to trams, locomotives, trains, EMUs, all kind of things. Mining, also quite strong, but obviously with current situation in Europe, the mining is going down. Cement, still very strong, and mineral processing in general. Power generation, that's still interesting, both for the thermal power plants as well as nuclear power plants. There's going to be some more nuclear power plants built in Europe now, so we are definitely in tenders for those. Hydropower, also interesting, I think, for Greece. We've got some hydropower plants here. turbo in general, running all kind of compressors, high-speed pumps, whatever. These gearboxes are interesting because they are large and they spin in very high speed. Yeah? You can have up to 35,000 RPM on big shafts, so it's quite scary to see these machines running. Rubber and plastic, we are supplying to all kind of traditional tire manufacturers, for cars, companies like Michelin, Bridgestone, Goodyear, Continental, you name them. Wind and tidal, we used to supply a lot to wind business, now we focus more on the overhaul business. And steel industry, obviously, that's also quite traditional market, and we supply well also here in Greece. Marine shipbuilding, we do a bit. Sugar plants, that's mainly in Latin America. And obviously machine tools and recycling processing. That's recycling processing, definitely business which is growing, because recycling and reuse of the material is definitely some area which is very interesting for Europe. We also have we provide a lot of custom gearbox, but we also have a kind of range of catalog products. Catalog products means that they are not off the shelf. We don't have it on stock. We always build it according to the order, and we can do a lot of modification to the customer according to his needs. But the benefit is pre-designed. We can use the modules from that, and we can save a lot of cost for the customer, and also we can reduce the risk, yeah, because the gearbox is not new. So we get a range of Orbiflex planetary gearboxes, which goes from very small up to very large, up to 60 ton. We've got a range of wing gear, which is traditional helical and bevel helical gearboxes, and also a range of high-speed gearboxes. And obviously we've got a lot of, I will show you a few cases where we took the basic gearbox, the catalog gearbox, and then we modify it according to the client needs, so it would fit better to their portfolio or to their machine. We also have a nice configurator. I would say is one of the best configurator you can find on the internet for the gearboxes. It's www.gearboxconfigurator.com. You can play with that. You can select either the planetary or bevel helical gearbox from that, and you can see the size, and you can send us the inquiry, and we would come back to you with the proposal. I mentioned the cement and mineral processing. This is another range we supply. It's these gearboxes are called side drives. So normally you got some big tube where you basically grind the material. Is for ball mills, so we supply these gearboxes a lot all around the world. They are in 3 basic sizes, but again we can do all kind of modification. Just for interest, this gearbox on a picture weighed 120 ton. That was of Siberia, yeah, so it was very large gearbox, and I think the diameter of the inner piece was 3 meters, so it was like a Stargate. Yeah. We can also supply vertical roller mill drives, very popular in cement plants, mainly as a fairly older technology. So one of the technology we've got for planetary gearboxes is called flexible pin. I will try to show you a video with sound where it's kind of explain how it works, yeah, in 2 minutes. And it's definitely technology which is helping us to transmit safely more torque, mainly for applications with a lot of shocks. Yeah, so typically mineral processing, mixing, crushing, or whatever. You switch on, okay, perfect, yeah. And now you can see the more harder material would come to the mixer or crusher. The flexible pin can compensate the deformations, while the conventional design would start to have a deformation, would twist, and you would start to have a compromising on the teeth pattern and also on the bearing loading, which means you start to overload the bearings, which would be the, and gears, and there would be a typical failure on a planetary gearbox. Yeah, we use the flex pin for the cost reasons. We use it on a low speed, high torque side. There is no reason to use it anywhere else, and it provides a fairly cost-effective solution for the clients. It's not new technology, it's technology coming from 1960s actually. We got it through one of our company, which is called Orbit 2 Limited, which we acquired in Britain many years ago, more than 20 years ago. So we supplied hundreds and hundreds of gearboxes with this technology and never had a single failure on a planetary stage since then. So that's a fairly interesting technology, and it's helped us to make the gearboxes smaller and mainly more durable for all kind of industries. A few examples of the Orbiflex, of this planetary gearbox with flexible pin. Bucket wheel excavators, again, the coal mines are diminishing from Europe, you know, but you got a lot of them here as well. So either for running the tracks or basically running the bucket wheel itself. Roll press application, HPGRs, that's typically used in mineral processing and cement plants. Shredding, as mentioned, we supply a lot of gearboxes for shredding. This is for a company in Germany. They shred wood, they shred waste, you know, so basically these gearboxes, again, are fairly durable. So when they are shredding wood and someone would throw the stone in there, this wouldn't break the gearbox. Rubber plants, all kind of variations, yeah, so rubber plants are fairly conservative, but it's more and more, even the rubber plants are going for planetary gearboxes simply because they are smaller and more efficient. Hydropower plants, yeah, so also we supply to all kind of hydropower plants. If you would come to US, to Niagara Falls, in Niagara Falls there are all gearboxes running on the local hydropower plant. And also mineral processing stirred mills. Yeah, these are the modern way of milling in a mineral processing. We are supplying to several OEMs now, and that's definitely, this is a growing business. This is slowly replacing the old type ball mills. Yeah, so this is a new technology for very fine and efficient grinding. We also supply the customized gearboxes, typically for steel. Steel industry will be typical for all kind of customized gearboxes. So you can see the gearboxes for rolling lines with all kind of strange shapes and strange angles of the shafts. Yeah, as said, we also supply to Greece now successfully. So we got our first installations here. When it comes to, let's say, the customized gearboxes and drop-in products, we can either supply the traditional way, so basically this will be the old gearbox, and we supply the new gearbox which look exactly the same and would fit. There can be upgrade, there can be case-hardened gears, if the gears were quenched before, so we can make the gears more durable, we can upgrade the bearings, we can make the gearbox able to transmit more torque, or we can also, when the client is up for that, we can also suggest that we can do the gearbox. We can replace the drop-in gearbox with, or basically we don't do drop-in gearbox, but we rather do a new design. This is an example of the old-fashioned rubber mixing gearboxes, which weigh around 20 tons, where we successfully, that was for client Continental, and now we supply to Goodyear as well, where we supply the combined parallel shaft planetary gearboxes, which are nearly half weight, and they are also more efficient, which is quite interesting if you think about power and power consumption per year. You know, if it doesn't look like much. It's 1% of the efficiency, but you can save quite a lot of, you can save thousands of euros on efficiency, and definitely more and more clients is now asking about efficiency in their productions. Definitely the gearbox is also, because it's lighter and a lot of cost is coming from the cost of material, the gearbox is also cheaper. Yeah, so it's not only, it's not half cheap because it's more complex, you know, but or half price, you know, but it's definitely cheaper. As mentioned, we can also supply the condition monitoring system, which is very modern and very popular way. So we can fit the gearbox, or we can fit a complete drivetrain, including the motor driven equipment with all kind of sensors. So basically we can measure vibrations, we can measure temperatures, we can measure speed, we can measure oil pressure, we can measure torque. We can measure the oil cleanliness also, and we can get this data into our product, which is called WIKOV, where we basically process the data. We are using AI algorithms for that now, and the client can visualize basically the data on their screen. They are getting regular reports basically on the agreement we do with them, and so they can see if the equipment is in a good condition or not. This is a well-known graph taken from the internet for the vibration or for the bearing life prediction. Yeah. So basically, you can see that once you start to measure some vibrations on the bearings, you know, the life, you still have some predictive period and life goes down. What we offer is we go slightly further. We can, from the vibrations on the bearings, we can read also the vibrations of the gearing, and through the extensive testing where we were simply on purpose damaging the gears and measuring vibrations and basically being able to read from the vibrations what's going on with the gearing, we can also predict the life of the gears. We can predict what's going on, whether there is some scuffing, micro-pitting or whatever. We also, when we talk about, let's say, the aftermarket, we also promote a lot now the wind turbine gearbox overhaul services, where we are building basically a small pool of gearboxes. We got a small pool of gearboxes. This is an example of the gearbox. It's non-WIKOV gearbox. It's a Bosch Rexroth gearbox for Vestas V90. And we keep those small stock of these gearboxes, and we offer these gearboxes for the exchange. So if the client's got a broken gearbox, we can basically directly, if they bring the crane to the tower, we can bring the fully dressed gearbox, plug and play, and they can replace the gearbox in one day, and we take the broken gearbox back and we can fix it. So this is the way it works. So this is just an example. We are fixing all kind of gearboxes, not only Bosch, also Winergies and other things, you know. And we can upgrade those gearboxes from S1 to S2, etc. And yeah, it's really, that's the way the wind business works. It's slightly different operational than the normal business when it comes to overhauls. But there's definitely growing business for us as well, and it's also interesting for Greece. Just a short overview at the end of the presentation, some names where we supply. So you can see some names will be familiar to you: Siemens, GE, Doosan, Cemex, Lafarge, MAN. So basically, it's definitely growing for us, and we are supplying to most of the key names in the business, and are looking forward to see more clients from Greece in this list. We got a global sales network, so basically in some countries we are present directly, in some countries we are present through our dealers or agents, which is exactly the case of Greece. So basically these are our contacts. As for Greece, please, if you would have any inquiry or question, you can go to Mr. Andreas Pamphilou, you know, and to his company, DTA Tech. Thank you very much.